Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to talk about the virtue of acceptance. Now this isn't one of the 7 virtues that Ayn Rand listed, but it's still a very important virtue when it comes to achieving your values and feeling comfortable in this world. Now, to kind of give an intro into this whole idea of acceptance, Ayn Rand liked the Serenity Prayer, which is basically the idea that that you want to be able to accept things that you cannot change and be able to change things that you can't accept. That's basically what the Serenity Prayer is, or that's basically the principle behind it. But one important aspect of this is you have to be able to accept the things that you cannot change. If you can't change something, if something is a fact of reality, it's really important to accept that fact. Nature to be commanded must be obeyed. This means that you need to be able to identify and accept the reality of what existence is, of what nature is, before you're going to be able to change it, before you're going to be able to improve it. And the things that are what they are, you can't spend your whole life fighting to change those things, because you're only ever going to be disappointed if you can't accept reality. And yeah, reality needs to be the primary. Existence needs to be the primary principle that guides you, or the primary by which your life is guided, by which you decide to take any sort of actions. If you feel like you don't want existence to be a certain way, that means not your feelings are wrong, because that's also an issue with acceptance, but it means that you have false subconscious premises that are leading to these whims, that go against reality, that go against what is actually going on in reality. And you need to correct those premises so that later you can have better, so that you can, in the future, not wage these wars against reality with your emotions. And actually, it's an important principle here as well to accept your emotions as they are, because your emotions are real. They are facts of reality. They're not something that you can deny and say don't exist. No, these are real things. These are real phenomena happening inside of your mind, and you need to identify them, accept them, and figure out what you need to do now. Now, your emotions don't define you. You can't let your emotions control the way you think, the way that you think about the world. So this is why you shouldn't let your emotions basically dictate how you think about reality. This is why you shouldn't let your emotions, if you feel like this certain fact of reality, I don't want this to be true, you can't let your emotions dictate that. But you still have to accept that those emotions are real, and yeah, basically accept that they're real and see what you have to do about them. Figure out what you have to do about them. You can't repress them. You can't deny that they exist. You have to accept that they're real, accept that they are a part of your mind, and figure out what their source is. And if their source is something bad in your subconscious, then you need to correct that. But the important principle here is that one must accept reality to live. One must accept the things that are unchangeable to live, because those things aren't going to change. Those things are a fact of reality. And if you spend your whole life trying to change things that are unchangeable, trying to correct things that are uncorrectable, trying to not live in reality, you're not going to achieve happiness in reality. You're not going to be able to live. Your life and your happiness have objective requirements in reality that are part of reality. You have to rely on reality. You have to accept reality to be able to live, to be able to survive, to be able to be happy. All of these things, you necessarily need to look at reality, and you need to accept reality, because that's where you're living. You're living in reality. You're living in reality, and your happiness is something that is a real thing, a metaphysical fact, and so is your life. Those are two interconnected, very important parts of ethics. Your life and happiness are both part of reality. They're both metaphysical facts, and that's important here as well. Like, you need to be able to accept reality. You need to basically acceptance is when you fully hold the principle that existence is a primary, that you never wage war against reality with your consciousness. You never put your consciousness, your whims, your desires over what is actually true in reality. Because reality is immutable. Reality is something that is what it is. And if you can't accept that, you're not going to be able to live. But yeah, I think that is all I have to say for today. Actually, I don't know. I'll make a personal connection here. I notice the times in my life when I am most happy, when I am most fulfilled, is when I can accept reality, when I can accept what is actually going on in my life, when I can accept my emotions for one, when I can accept whatever negative things are going on in the world, or whatever obstacles are blocking my path, I have to accept those and try to overcome them if they're negative. But I have to do it by a strict adherence to reality, by an strict adherence to what is real, without ever using like a prayer or a wish to try to disprove or go against these things in reality, because they're real. And you can't try to explain that. You can't try to go against that. It's what it is. Everything is what it is. All these things are what they are, and you can't change them. You have to. It's human nature to basically try to adapt to these things, try to adapt to reality and find happiness through that adapting. Creativity, which is one way that we produce things, one way we make things better, is simply a rearrangement of reality. You're not creating something entirely new. You're creating a new arrangement of reality, and that's an important thing to remember here as well. You have to accept that reality is what it is, and then rearrange it in ways that suit your life and make it as good as possible. And when you can accept that reality is what it is, you'll live a much happier life, because you're never going to be waging these hopeless wars against reality, because that's what they are. They're absolutely hopeless. There's no chance that you will be able to overcome reality, because that should never be your goal. Your goal should be to adhere to reality, to strictly adhere to objective reality. Objective reality is your higher power. It should be your higher power, because it's something that you can't change. It's something that you must follow. It's something that guides your life, basically. But yeah, now I think that is all I have to say for today. So thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Peace.